Hello, everybody. Good evening and welcome. Welcome to those of you who join us live now. I know that some of you will be watching the recording. If you're here live, let us know in the chat where you're from, just so we have create like a sense of community for a minute. And I am excited to be here with you um, for the second session of Winding Down Your Soul. Tonight is all about tuning into our wisdom, inner wisdom, the wisdom of the soul. Those three sessions that's the second one, are focused on creating a soulful space to end the day right. Because we all have busy days and there is so much going on, and the world is so demanding, and so many people complain about not sleeping well. And actually, winding down starts much earlier in the day when we really want to pay attention to how much balance we create throughout the day between doing and being, and between giving and receiving. And are we taking some breaks to just, catch our breath and maybe enjoy a few minutes of nothingness? I'm sure that you all know those days when there is like go, 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 no breaks. So then it's much harder to fall asleep, or if you fall asleep, it's much harder to stay asleep. So it's extremely important to honor really our soul and ourselves by creating a routine or a ritual of winding down in the evening. And just so you know, for tonight, you'll need a journal and a pen. Or if you choose, instead of writing, if you choose to draw, then you can have colored pencils or markers. It's up to you. Um, Tonight, I'm going to get us started with a guided visualization that will help us connect to the soul. And then we'll do some writing again or drawing. So it's up to you, either a journal and pen or a journal and markers and colored pencils, whatever you prefer. In the first Winding Down with Soul session, we focused on releasing the energy of the day, releasing from our body, releasing from our energy field. We used intentional movement with music to shift into deep listening. We listened to a poem, we listened to a song, we listened to ourselves. So we went down in creative, soulful ways. And in this session, we're going to try completely different things. My goal is really to help you eventually design your own winding down your soul ritual. So I want to offer you a variety. I want to honor the fact that those of you who are joining live or watching the recording might be on different places on your journey. And while I see through the chat, many of you who are part of our community for many years have gone through the Reiki training, have done workshops. Some of you have worked privately with me, and you are very experienced with personal growth. But I also want to acknowledge those of you who are here and are beginners in the process. And if you want to, then let us know in the chat in terms of like personal growth and maybe your level of openness to soulfulness, to life force energy, to things that we don't necessarily see. Then if you think that you are a beginner in that, then we want to just give you some special love. So you can let us know in the chat. And if you're experienced with that, and and you have done work with me before, then let us know, and then we can just support each other and honor you wherever you are on your journey. I do want to mention that I got an interesting question in session one when we did the routine of cleaning the energy field in three different ways. And I got a question at the end of the session, what are the differences? And I didn't know the answer. And then I went back to my notes from many years ago when I learned that. Uh, 20 years ago, actually. And then I have the answer for that. So I'll share it at the end of the session for those of you who are curious to hear. Um, so let's see. I would like to start actually by reading a quote from my book, Becoming Soulful, on page 90. And I have the quote actually on the screen just to make it easier for me. But if you have the book and you want to read with me, then it's on page 90. And that's an explanation of inner wisdom, and it's a really good opening for tonight. So here's what I write. Each of us possesses a natural inner wisdom, a guiding voice that is as constant as the beating of our hearts. It is a timeless navigator, whispering insights collected not from books or lectures, but from the very essence of our being. When we dare to listen, we truly unlock a tank of knowledge and understanding that can enrich our lives in immeasurable ways. And what's important in this is the acknowledgement that some insight we collect from books, from studies, from school, from lectures, but there is really a deep knowledge that is not a learned knowledge, that is nestled within our soul, inside of us. And I wonder if it makes sense to you. Do you really recognize, based on your experience, that we have learned knowledge, but we have a different type of knowledge? That's the inner wisdom. And in my book, I talk about inner wisdom and collective wisdom. And it's all really an ocean of wisdom that if we only listen, we can get so much insight from that type of wisdom. Okay, and I see, and I see in the chat a work in progress, in between, always learning, not a beginner, but certainly not an expert. It's interesting because when I teach the Reiki Master Program, and I know many of you here have gone through the program, then we talk about being a lifetime student and how when you're a Reiki Master, you continue to learn always. I know that I always learn more from you, from my clients, from everybody else, through wisdom, really. So I appreciate the humbleness here. um, and then somebody says sometimes two steps forward and one step back. So I do want to encourage you, maybe those of you who are beginners here, to be aware, and if there is any sense of not good enoughness that is coming up tonight, just be very gentle with yourself and be kind to yourself. You may see in the chat something that somebody who's more advanced is writing. Don't compare yourself to other people. Just really honor yourself for being here tonight. So I'm going to get us started with a guided visualization. It's actually the guided visualization. I'm going to read it. I have it on the screen, but it's from my book, from chapter 3, the chapter of connecting to the soul, page 82. And the name of the guided visualization is Reconnect with Your Soul. Those of you who has the book, have the book, that you can listen to all the guided visualizations in the book, so you don't only read it, but you can go to the website and listen to it. I'm going to read it to you today, and then we're going to get started. And when we're done with the guided visualization, then we'll connect to the soul in a deeper way, and then we'll have a question that will ask our soul to share the wisdom, and that's where you will be able to choose if to write or to draw the answer. But we'll definitely get started with a guided visualization. So I invite you to get comfortable in your chair and to close your eyes. I am going to maybe play some music for us. So as you're getting comfortable on the chair, then close your eyes and start to simply follow your breath. to very gently pay attention to the inhale and the exhale. Connecting with the breath is the best way to start tuning in. And when we tune into the soul, we really want to shift into deep listening. And the breath is helping us to do that. You can already focus on your breath and allow your body to be exactly as it is right now. No need to change anything. And I would love for you to now focus on your middle, in the middle of your forehead. Really shift your awareness to the middle of your forehead. The third eye, between the eyes. This is a window to your inner wisdom, to your inner vision. And as you focus on this light in the middle of your forehead, let it expand inside your body. Visualize this light expanding towards the heart, and search for a small flame there, really deep within your heart. So the light is expanding and is mixing up with the flame that is inside already. And if you're not able to visualize what I say, just stay present in the experience. It's going to work either way. And as you breathe with each inhale, see the light within you becoming larger, the flame between you becoming larger. See it shining brighter. And as this light fills you and continue to expand in your body, allow yourself to feel the light, to feel the lightness, and shift to a place of gratitude. And connect with the pure essence of who you are, your soul. Tune into your soul. Thank her for pouring her light into you in times of darkness. Thank her for the wisdom that guides you, the inspiration that uplifts you, and the love that surrounds you. And now gently ask your soul what she needs. Dear soul, what do you need from me right now? And be still and listen. Don't think with your mind. Just wait and listen. Feel your soul's response within your body. It might come as an emotion or a physical sensation or a whisper or a thought. Notice how you feel when you are in tune with your soul. Notice if your thinking mind is trying to distract you. And if it is, just take a deep breath and reconnect with your soul. Soften up through this connection. Offer your soul compassion. And if there are any challenging emotions that arise right now, maybe frustration, maybe confusion, make space for all emotions, offer them compassion, and sit with them gently as they are welcome into this journey in conversation with your soul. And now ask your soul to offer some wisdom about your day. Looking back at your day, ask your soul to offer some wisdom. Don't think what that wisdom should be. Just let your soul speak. And to make the intention of listening to your soul a little bit more solid, you can now repeat after me as I say this soul invocation to your soul. And here is what you say to your soul. I honor your light, dear soul. I trust your wisdom, always present, even when I forget. I am listening. Tell me what you want me to know. It is safe now for me to feel, to listen, to receive. I hear you in the quiet, in the stillness, in the truth. I welcome your guidance with an open heart. Dear soul, what wisdom do you have for me about my day? And we'll ask it one more time. Dear soul, what wisdom do you have for me about my day? And you can now open your eyes and have your journal ready. And on a blank page, you can write, and I'm going to show it on the screen. I'm not showing the right thing. I'll try again. Here it is. And the question you write at the top of your page. Dear soul, what wisdom do you have about my day? You should see it on the screen. And simply begin to write without overthinking. Trust that your soul is speaking to you right now. And just write whatever comes up, even if it doesn't make sense. Dear soul, what wisdom do you have about my day? And this is where, if instead of writing, you feel like drawing, then allow your soul to speak through drawing. So you either let yourself write or draw. And if you decide to draw, allow your soul to lead you into the shapes, the colors, the lines, the textures. Let whatever wants to emerge. Dear soul, what wisdom do you have for me about my day? And I'm going to get quiet and let you write until I ask you to stop. I'm going to do my writing as well. best to continue and write without stopping. Whatever comes up, doesn't have to be nice, doesn't have to be structured. Whatever comes up needs to be released into the paper right now. And I invite you to wrap up the writing now. You can continue later. And we'll write in a minute again. But what I'd like you to do now is just close your eyes for a few more seconds. And now imagine that you're stepping just outside yourself. Imagine that you are observing yourself from the outside. You're looking at your life, you're looking at your day as if you're watching another woman, someone you care deeply about. You're outside yourself, looking back at your day as if you're watching another woman, someone you care deeply about. See her clearly. Yes, it's you, but you are looking at you from the outside. Feel her presence. And let your soul speak. The following question that I'll share on the screen now. And the question is, dear soul, what wisdom do you have for her today? What wisdom do you have for her about her day? And continue to write, but this time, start your writing with she. You are looking at your day, but you're talking about her. She started her day, she was very energized. Then she got a phone call. She felt a little confused today. Talk about her, and then just a few more minutes of writing about her. Dear soul, what wisdom do you have for her about her day? And just write. One more minute, keep writing about her. Is there anything she regrets? Is there anything she appreciates? Okay, and now you can wrap up the writing. And of course, you can continue later. What I'm curious to hear is, maybe you can share it in the chat, what what was it like to write about her compared to writing about you? In other words, what shifted when you stepped outside yourself? Did it feel more supportive or less supportive? Was there any difference when you stepped outside yourself and wrote about her? This is actually a practice that I teach as part of the Soulful Transformation, the Soulful Healer program, the 6-week program. So those of you who participated in the program, you recognize the practice. That's one of the things I teach there as a way to connect with the soul. So my question is, what shifted when you stepped outside of yourself? And by the way, in a few minutes, once we officially close this official part of the session, I would love if anybody did some drawing, or if you would like to show the page or to just share, and then I will invite you to share through talking. I'm reading from the chat. The question was, what shifted when you stepped outside of yourself? And I'm reading. Let's see, scrolling down. Okay, because it's okay. More clarity, more analytical. So that's interesting. Was it more analytical the second time? That's interesting. It was easier to write about her than myself, made me feel that some of my stuff was a waste of time. I consoled her on how to do it better. It was a great day, all in all. A really powerful exercise, so things from a different perspective, could see so much more. It was easier to be less judgmental and feel grateful about my day. More compassion. Okay, yeah. So most of you say it was easier, more compassion. It's also okay if your experience is the opposite, if you actually felt that stepping outside yourself was felt less supportive for the writing. I'm reading somebody else from the chat. For me, it was clear to write about her. I was able to understand I was acting as a people pleaser and not for my best option. Somebody else writes more empathy, but also pragmatic. So it's a really good exercise. First of all, when we wind down in the evening, like I said in the beginning, we can do the practices that we learned in session 1, but maybe one evening you don't feel like moving, or you don't feel like clearing your aura and you want to do it in a different way. So then it's also okay to sit quietly with your journal and then to go through the process that we did, to some guided visualization to connect with your soul, as well as the invocation, the soul invocation, which is really setting the intention to connect with the soul, and then just free writing. I wonder if it was challenging for anybody, if you can share in the chat, if it was too challenging for everybody to write. What happens sometimes when we have a very strong mind, then when we try this exercise at the beginning, then our mind can maybe get in the middle of it. But after a few times of doing it, when we relax into the process, it's easier. For most people, it's easier to have more compassion towards yourself when you write about her than when you write about you. But if you have some negative voices that are, you can read them on the paper, it's better that it's coming out. Let's say if you're being hard on yourself, or if you're self-judging or self-blaming yourself for something, it is better that you write it down and you let it out on the paper than it stays inside you, because sometimes this process allows you to then have more compassion when you write. And if you don't like writing, don't force yourself, then do the same process just by listening to your soul and doing an inner dialogue with your soul. And by the way, if there are any questions about the process, please post them in the chat. I read from the chat. I have a habit to write really in the morning. I have done 3 morning pages for years, of course, the artist way. Um, um, Alison writes, free writing is always a little challenging for me at the start, but I've learned if I just keep going, keep writing, the process very quickly becomes more fluid. Absolutely. Yes, that's my experience as well. And somebody asking me privately through the chat, by the way, some of you are typing just for host and panelists. So if you want everybody to read your comments, click on everyone. Somebody is asking me about the soul invocation, if it's written anywhere. Yes, you can actually receive um, um, all the exercises, the guided visualization, the soul invocation from all the 3 sessions in this guide that I created. I'll post it in the chat now. It is for $7. You can get a guide of all the exercises for all 3 sessions. Okay, and I owe you an explanation for those of you who would like to know the answer to the question that I was asked in session 1. We did energy field clearing through a 3-step process. When the first time it was brushing the energy field, the second time it was calming, and the third time it was tapping. And the question was, what's the difference? And as I said in the beginning, I studied it maybe 20 years ago in England when I learned color therapy. So I went back to my notes, and here is what I found out, which I forgot. Actually, I just love doing the the routine, but without thinking about the difference between each one of the 3 ways. So when we brush the energy field, we sweep away surface level energy clutter like stress and tension and any emotions. So it's like dusting the energy field, clearing what doesn't belong. That's the brushing. Then when we combing the auras, if we're combing our hair, that's to refine, to smooth, and to untangle the stagnant or more knotted energy. It helps to break up denser or more stubborn energy when we do the calming. And then tapping is really to awaken, to activate, to recalibrate the energy. So it's like to re-energize and connect us with vitality. So that's the difference between the 3 techniques. Brushing clears, calming, smooth, and tapping energizes. And you can always go back to session 1 and watch the recording. By the way, if you are watching this recording and you're not live here, then on the page you will find the link to the $7 guide that you can get with a written version of all the exercises. Okay, so I'm looking at the chat. Yeah, really cool shares and beautiful to read. And I would like to officially close the maybe teaching part of this session now, and thank you all, and the practice as well, and thank you all for taking the time and winding down together, because healing together outshines healing alone. So I want to thank you for that.